Hi Pisces, welcome to your May 2018 reading. Thanks so much for being here. I do apologize, and I know most people aren't paying attention, but for those of you who are, for not getting the video out yesterday. I was very late into the evening doing these videos, and upon editing I realized I look like a crack addict with my makeup all messed up and my lips all chapped. So I was like, I'm gonna just wait till tomorrow. I need to go to sleep. So here I am at 6:30 in the morning recording these videos. But Pisces, you know, you've made such amazing strides in your life. I mean, in every area, your financial life, your living life, your energy life, your subconscious life, and there's so much to be proud of. And I feel like you're standing at this forefront of what I call this like Stargate portal, you know, kind of like this opportunity for you to really almost like time travel into a whole new dimension is kind of how it was feeling. It's like this huge shift. And yes, Chiron is moving out of your sign. Okay, that's a wonderful thing. It will be retrograding back into your sign later on this year and into next year. And that's going to really force us to completely wrap up absolutely everything. With Pluto coming in contact with Mars and Pluto and Saturn moving retrograde in the sky, and Chiron going into Aries, which it's there like right now. I don't know about you. I'm definitely feeling it. I've got Neptune at my 0 degrees Capricorn. And so it's like almost an exact square right now. And it's like, it's kind of weird. It's a weird transition. It's very, very soft and very understated in my opinion. There's just like this weirdness, and people are like poised waiting for like the next couple days to sort of pan out while the energy adjusts. But you know, people aren't going to be handling this Mars Pluto transit very well. There's this aggression in the air, and I think you've got this Queen of Swords reverse coming out with this Tower situation. And I think this person, I don't necessarily think it's a significant other, but it could be, who has like their own kind of world kind of crashing down and not handling the introspection very well. They're not handling what Mars in Pluto, Mars marching forward, the warrior down into the underworld, the deepest, darkest depths of our soul, and like resurfacing all this stuff. They're not handling it very well, and it's very possible they're going to be projecting a lot of that stuff on you. And what's weird is that you're probably going to see a mirror, and you're going to be like, whoa, I was the one that did that to someone else, and I was in that position. And you're going to have that ability to recognize a part of you in them. And yet, while you have moved on and you have made such amazing progress, there's still this like inkling, there's still this seed planted inside of you that's still very present, and it's just kind of waiting to ignite. And I think that there's going to be some of you where this person comes in and affects you and ignites this seed of fear, this seed of doubt, this seed maybe even of sadness, right? Because it's like something you thought you had pushed back, you thought you were over it, you thought it was totally, totally gone. And yet now here's this person coming in, or maybe there's multiple people at play, and it's like, like, no, it still affects me. And on the other side of that world reverse, as you'll see in the comprehensive, we do get the Two of Cups. And so it's like really imperative that you don't just stand in front of that portal and not move. You must make your way through it. You must find a way to leave this thing that still affects you completely behind, so that you can attain a true Two of Cups situation, a true relationship, a true love, a true friendship, a true like something really, really solid and really, really promising and great. So it'll be an interesting month for all of us. It's going to be probably okay up until like the time Saturn and Pluto go retrograde later on this month, and then we're going to start feeling that like kind of tension stuff. Mars comes in contact with Pluto on April 22nd, so that's just like 4 days away. So that's coming, and we're all feeling that tension build up. So all right, you guys, I'm going to leave you there. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next month. Bye. Hello, Pisces. Welcome to your reading. We get the Ten of Swords right out of the gate. What's that about? I feel like you guys are still like you're so done with something. It's so over. It's so like in the past. It's so done. And yet it still creeps in once in a while, doesn't it? still creeps in, maybe in the late night hours when you're alone and you are left to your own devices, right? It's really, really, really important that you are not victimizing yourself in case you are mentally and emotionally. Okay, I think that this is something that you've already set yourself free from. You took the initiative, you took action, you were the one that made something happen, you were the one that made the change, and yet deep down there's still this kind of gnawing feeling. And I think it's really, really time for, it's like officially, let's say that, it's officially time for that to stop. Because as we have Chiron leaving your sign, I think that you guys are going to feel a lot less stress. You know, you're not going to feel so in this watery darkness. No, it's like, spill a little bit. You're not going to feel in that darkness so much. And you are going to start creeping out of your little holes, your little hermit holes a little bit. And I think you're going to really start enjoying life a lot more. And even though Chiron in Aries is a big deal, I think Chiron in Pisces is also just as much a big deal, because you're the end of the zodiac, Aries is the beginning. And so there's a huge era, not just for you guys, but for everyone, a huge global era that is officially ending. And hopefully over the next several months, we're going to be able to feel that lift. Those swords in your back, they're going to start completely dissolving. Oh, weird. I think I got that card exactly like that in the exact same position for Aquarius as well. So I'll pass on the message. There's this stalling effect that's happening. This is very clearly the reason why. This stalling effect, that's like you're standing in front of this Stargate portal, staring at, like that movie Stargate, you know, with that round thing and that liquidy stuff in the middle. It's like you're standing right in front of it, and you know that once you're on the other side of it, that you will be in a different world. And yet there's this sense of not being ready. This Ten of Swords, like I said, it's over, it's done, you've moved on, you're completely, you've shed yourself from it. So why are you still thinking about it? Right? That's what the swords represent, right? Our thoughts. You've already beaten the dead horse. It's already, you know, it's done, it's over. And yet somehow it still has this clinging effect. And perhaps many of you very heavily identified with what you went through, whether it was just in the past few years, or whether it was like 8 years ago, back in 2010, you know, when Uranus entered into Aries, or I don't know exactly the date that Chiron entered your sign, but it was probably just right around there, 8 or 9 years ago. That sort of became an energetic attachment to you, you know, like a limb or an arm. And so now that you've lost that arm, it's like, where did it go? It was a part of me. That was a part of who I am. See, the Master of Swords, the Master of Thoughts. See, you are conquering it. I have no doubts in my mind that you are doing well in your life. Like, I feel like even the Pisces that I know, like, they're in a much, much happier place. They are in more stable relationships. They are in more stable jobs and careers, and they do seem to find themselves on solid ground. They're no longer drowning. But yet still there's a little twinge of something, you know? There's a stubbornness effect that happens with the King of Swords as well. The stubbornness of a king can be very, very rigid. And like I said, here he is standing directly right in front of the portal. And yet, you know, if that was a knight, I'd be like, oh, great, you're going to be moving in soon. But there does seem to be some unfinished business. And I got to tell you that I really suspect that is what this Saturn and Pluto retrograde in Capricorn is going to all be about. It's going to all be about closing out that chapter once and for all. You know, and Pluto has that very, very deep feeling, that very, very deep inside of you-ness, deep within your subconscious, deep within your psyche. This one kind of really doesn't like to be deep in its psyche. You know, if I got a King of Cups, yes, great. He's happy there. That's totally his vibe. But a King of Swords really isn't there. But I think you're going to need to go into that darkness. Pluto is the card of Scorpio, right? And Scorpio is all about the darkness. And you're going to have to go back into that darkness just to wrap it up, just to tie up the loose ends, even if it's just in your own mind. Like, it's probable that some of you had some emotional attachment things or some failures or whatever it was, and you don't really talk to people about it anymore. It's not really a part of your life anymore. It's actually maybe so far in the past. But the fact that it still like enters your mind, like that kind of bugs me. It's bugging me right now. Two of Cups reversed. See, that's an indication of, one, you're not talking to people really. Maybe this was the source of the Ten of Swords, a broken relationship or a broken contract or a broken commitment of some kind. Maybe you are looking for some resolution here. And for whatever reason, you're really not getting that closure. That's like, I feel like there's just this open end and it's just gnawing away at you. Like you couldn't conquer someone, or you couldn't win at something. But you're sitting here like, no, I am a winner. Look at what I've done. Look at all these things that I've accomplished. Look at all these changes that I've made in myself and all these changes that I've made in my life. But you're taking on this very crystallized sort of vibe here with the King of Swords. It's very cool. And that's not a typical Piscean quality. You know, we can all take on this quality at certain points in our life. But even though this is a card of Aquarius, this has a Saturnian, well, Aquarius, look, Saturn also rules Aquarius. Can we, you know, not forget that too? There's a Saturnian quality happening here. This is a card that's ruled by Saturn, even. And it's that Saturn crystallized structure that needs to, like, that's not normally how you guys live your life. You're Pisces, you're fluid, you're water, you're fish, you swim, you move, you're agile, you're mutable. It's all this like beautiful stuff, right? And you're taking on kind of a little bit of a personality because it's like you are maybe feeling like you have something to prove to yourself, you have something to prove to the world. But you kind of know that that's not really you at the same time. In a weird way, you do feel comfortable in darkness. You're the house of our own undoing, right? 12th house. You're the house of our own undoing, the house of mental illness, the house of hospitals, the house of our subconscious. It's all about the insides with you. And so you're moving it into this more mental thing, which is fine, but you do need to feel like it's over, you know? I'm worried about the rigidity of the King of Swords because that's the one that gets hit the hardest, I think. If something goes wrong or if something shatters, some kind of an illusion that you're holding in your mind, that's the one that gets hurt the most, the King of Swords. He's extremely fragile, extremely precarious, or in an extremely precarious situation. And like one wrong move from someone or something, and it all comes crashing down. Be careful that you're not living in an illusion of, now I know you're doing well, and I know you have made adjustments in your life. I can actually see it with my Piscean friends. I can see it. But I can also see that the pain was so severe that it's like, how can you move on so quickly? That's my judgmental Virgo coming out. Like, what? How can you possibly move on so quickly? You know? Whoa, okay. So we got a whole bunch. I'm going to pull them out, each of them. Here's the rest of them that came out. So 3 of Cups. The friends thing has been making an appearance this month for a lot of signs. I do really, really recommend getting out there and being social, because with Saturn in your 11th house, guys, not just the retrograde, but Saturn and Capricorn in general for you has to do with your friends. And I feel like when it first went in there at the end of last year, you guys were really pulling it in. You know, you were really staying at home a lot. You were really isolating yourself. You were not wanting to connect. There was just like this very deep sensation of stagnation going on inside of you. And now that you're warming up and you are creeping out of your little, like I said, your little holes, your little hermit caves, it's going to be such a wonderful time for you to reconnect with those platonic relationships that you have and that you truly, truly value, because you are like such a warm and fun and beautiful, mystical creature. And I think that Pisces and Aquarius, because you're like, you are the two signs, the only two signs of the zodiac that don't really have anything to do with the individual. It has nothing to do with our ego. It has nothing to do with our intimate and personal relationship. These are like really big, high-level signs that represent the global and universal consciousness. And when that energy is missing from the equation, everyone is just like chickens running around with their heads cut off aimlessly. You know, like in a weird way, you offer an energetic grounding. You know, Taurus would represent a little bit more of a stable earthly grounding, but you represent spiritual groundedness in a very beautiful way. And like when you walk into a room, there's often this energetic shift of like, oh, they're here. And I say this to Aquarius all the time. I'm like, you guys don't realize that when a Pisces comes to your party, how excited people get. Like, oh, yay, so-and-so is here. And you guys would never know that, because I don't know if you're really aware of the effect that you have on people on the individual level. But like people love to have you around, and they feel special when you choose to be with them, because we know how highly selective you are, because you're very protective of your energy. And so connecting with friends is going to be a really, really good way for you to just relax. Like, you guys need to relax. I don't like to see Pisces taking on this King of Swords. I really, really don't. I want to see you guys like happy in your Knight of Cups, beautiful, mutable quality, you know? And be careful, though, that you do not indulge in the darkness with your friends. That's the one kind of caveat that I really want to make sure I say. Because when you indulge verbally with your friend, like you're sitting with your girlfriends over some cocktails, or you're out with your buddies, whatever, and you're sitting there talking about this stuff, in a just a way of like maybe complaining or whining or just rehashing the past, saying all the same things that you've already said. Like I said, beating a dead horse. Like, I'm sure your friends have already heard all of this. And if they indulge this, it's going to keep you here. It's important for you to only speak about these things in a more productive way. It's better for you to completely shift focus if you can, and to not it is that indulgence factor that comes in when it's so dense like that. Seven of Wands. There may be something that comes up. Remember, I talked about the rigidity is very, very fragile. And there may be something that comes up, a disagreement or a miscommunication of some kind that occurs, right, between you and a significant other. Maybe you guys have an argument or something. Or maybe a contract at work doesn't fall through. Or maybe you have a situation with a friend, because I often see this in a platonic context as well. Where just maybe something just really rubs you the wrong way, because again, there's an ego factor here, and you may feel like you need to get a little bit defensive, and you may feel like other people are highly opinionated. And I really, really do think that this month there's a lot of people that have a lot to say. Can we not forget that Mars and Pluto are coming in contact in Capricorn, your house of friends? So they're all going to have this kind of power complex. Everyone's kind of taking on this power complex. And there's really not a lot you can do about it except just acknowledge that it's there. You don't need to get defensive. You can let people say their piece, but you don't need to be swayed by them. Okay, you don't. That's your call, that's your decision. Oh, see, there you are. That's what I want to see. That's definitely what I really want to see. Now, I know that I'm sitting here talking about that this is you. Let's switch gears here for a minute, because people can take on multiple energies in the readings, and I don't try to make it that way normally, but right now it's like as soon as you come out here, it's like that immediately switched and took on the energy of someone else as well. It's a part of you, and it's the part of you that is being reflected back. So your significant other, your friend, your whoever is also a King of Swords, and you guys are mirroring that to one another. That's why it's you and it's also them. It's a shared concept, all right? They are also just as rigid. They are also just as unbendable and maybe even stubborn, but yet they are also just as fragile. And if you need some kind of resolution of some kind, it is going to really be up to you to take the first step. If you need some kind of closure of some kind. Now, I do feel that because of this karmic quality of Saturn, Pluto retrograde, they're both just, it's just like they're just happening at the same time. You know, they're immediately, it's like they're like one right after the other. And we have this like compelling need to drudge up things from the past in order to clear it up. You know, like that's why I'm saying that any loose ends, they're going to get tied up over the next few months. It's not going to continue to be this lingering thing. And if you want it to be over sooner rather than later so that you can access this portal, so that you can truly enter into a new era of your life, you might want to be the one that reaches out. Now, it's not necessarily, okay, I was just going to say, I was like, it doesn't necessarily have to be verbal, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be through words or through text or email or physical contact. I was just about to say like telepathically or through the process of meditation. And I know that might sound weird and a little kooky, and I get that, but you guys are Pisces and that's totally your thing. So through the process of meditation, you can confront these issues and you can resolve them. Meditation has been a huge, huge theme for all the signs this month, and it is going to be critical because it is through meditation that we are truly connected, right? It is through that meditative state. And the Seven of Pentacles. Look, I know that you kind of know, I know that you might not know what to do. There, like I said, there could be this period of stagnation or delay, as I said before. Plain and simple, you either aren't now or you didn't in the past get what you needed from a specific situation. And there does seem to be significant deliberation of what will any form of confrontation really serve. Will it actually provide closure, right? And the Seven of Pentacles does tell me that your current situation seems somewhat dissatisfying. It's not because you don't have amazing things going for you. It's not because you're not having fun with your friends. It's not because you don't have a good job. It's not because you don't have a significant other now that truly loves you. And it's not because your money situation is not doing well. Like, the reason why is because this is still present. This is like the centerfold. This seems to have a gravitational force where everything else is kind of spiraling. It's like the center of the hurricane or the center of the tornado, right? It's kind of like that type of energy there. And if you are feeling dissatisfied in your life, it's not because of what's in your life. Okay, so don't go ruining a good relationship. Don't go quitting your job. Don't go making major changes to the things that are set in stone now because of something that didn't work out in the past. Do you know what I mean? The dissatisfaction is a symptom of that not having total resolution. Okay? And also, please be careful that you don't take it out on people that truly love you, because it probably just really doesn't have anything to do with them, if I can get my words out. Queen of Swords. Yes, I think this is connected. I had a feeling a harsher energy was going to come out, and here she is. And when I say harsh, I mean very judgmental. And I feel like this is someone that could be giving you an opinion, right? It could be a friend, a coworker, a brother or a sister or something like that, that just really, really has, they have what they want to say and they have what they think. And, you know, this could be the reason, it could be their harshness, which is the reason why this Two of Cups is reversed, right? Because it's not like they don't approach you with class. They don't approach you with diplomacy. They approach you with judgmentalism and criticism. And it's probably because they are in the middle of a spiritual crisis as well, because of the Chiron entering into Aries, that there is that focus on them, plus the retrogrades. Like, there's just so much going on right now. And they're just feeling it, you know, and they just don't know how to handle it. You know, I was driving today and I was like looking around on the freeway. I had to go visit my office, and I was looking around at all the people driving. And I was like, all of these people most likely don't pay attention to what's going on in the stars. They're literally operating blind. And I was like, that's insane, right? That's insane that this many people, billions of people, are operating blind. It is going to be up to you to offer some level of compassion. And that's going to be really annoying and really hard. But it is in your best interest. And I think that is the high road. This King of Swords does, I often see representing taking the high road. You don't need to lower your vibrations and come down and meet them on this level. That's not in your best interest to do that. Not even 1 iota, okay? Okay, not surprised. Yeah, I do think something's going to happen. Something's going to go down. It's like a jolt, an energetic jolt happening in your life. And people are going to get agitated. People are going to get affected. And it will directly affect you. And, oh, see, beautiful. I think the more diplomatic you can be and the more compassionate you can be, the easier that tower situation is going to be. This person, I think, is going to cause it. I don't think that's coming from you at all. I also don't necessarily think that this person is related to this person unless you're still in contact with them. I feel like you guys have already moved so far past it that this is actually from quite a long time ago. And you've moved so far past it that this person wouldn't be contacting you right now. But that's, again, an individual thing. And that's going to be different and vary for each and every one of you. I think this is more of a friend or more of someone that just for whatever reason wants to interject their opinion into your life. And in some ways, it's very possible that they may have some kind of negative intention. Again, they are projecting their insecurities, their negativity onto you, their lack of a self-examined self onto you. Because look, clearly you are also very, very self-examined. But remember what I said, that this energy is a reflection. Like this energy in you is a reflection of an energy of someone else. Maybe that's this, right? The Queen of Swords. And her rigidity and her lack of flexibility is going to do her some real hurt. Right? Whereas he, I think, is going to be, you know, as long as you have this Knight of Cups, which you do, that's your best friend right now. This is your card. It's wonderful, it's peaceful, it is kind, it is compassionate, right? So that's the part of yourself that you're really going to need to access this month. So I'm going to leave you guys there. Lots to clarify in the comprehensive reading, so I hope to see you guys there. I really wish you nothing but the best this month. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.